Okay, so welcome to our black bean burger class. If you don't know me, I'm Kelly. I'm from Culikid, and Culikid is a New York City-based nonprofit that provides healthy culinary programs for people of all abilities. And we aim to teach healthy habits, but also social skills and independent skills. As I mentioned, this class is being recorded. So if you don't wish to be in the recording, turn your camera off. We'll also take screenshots. So let me know in the chat if you don't want to be in those screenshots, but you want us to see what you're working on. You're also muted, so that way we don't have the background of everybody's kitchens, but you can unmute yourself whenever you need to, if you need to ask a question, or you can use the chat. So we like to practice using the chat if you want to. You can do that now and say your name. And today, since we don't know what everybody's gonna make, put on their burgers, tell us what burger toppings you're going to use. So I'll start us off in the chat, and go ahead and feel free to reply in there as well. So usually I tell you what class we have coming up. We have so many, actually. We have so many classes coming up. So we hope you'll join us. I'm going to send the link where you can register to all the upcoming classes. We've got Halloween dirt cake, which might be at capacity. We've got chicken and veggie pot pie, dinner rolls. We've got a free nutrition webinar for caregivers. And for adults, we have a cookies and cocktail fundraiser coming up in person in December. All those links will be in the chat. I'll also email them. And then lastly, if you are cooking, we love to see the pictures of what's going on your side. So if you take pictures, send them to us via email or tag us on social media. I'm going to send that right now as well. Okay. And we go. So it's good to know the chat because we'll use it throughout class to let you know the ingredients. I'll say them out loud. You can ask me to repeat it, or you can ask in it or reference the chat or ask a question. So I see people are talking in the chat. Joey, Jack, James, Josh, are you putting mustard on your burgers? Nice. Sherry likes cheese, pickles, mustard. Ooh, pickles, good idea. Ryu, burgers are yummy. Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I'm so excited to see you all again. Let's get started. We're making black bean burgers today. So this is one of our first weekday classes. We're gonna be making 4 burgers. So enough for your family. If you've got a family of 4, if you know that you're making more, that's great. Oh, great, okay. So somebody's running late, but that's okay. They'll just join us when they get here. All right, hands are washed, ingredients are gathered. Let's get started. So let me tilt this down so you can see. We're gonna start with our black beans. So that's the very first thing we wanna do. So everybody grab your black beans. We're using 2 cans to make 4 burgers. So if you just wanted to make 2, you could do 1 can. And if you needed to make more, go ahead and use 3 or whatever you need for that. Nice, Joey. Same ones as me. Okay, so
can I just go get a can of black beans? Because I need a wait. I'm not. Bobby, should I make one for Christian? Is Christian gonna have one? I'm not sure if I should make 5 or 4.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Well, if you have an extra and you want to make 5, you can. Otherwise, what you can also do is you can make slightly smaller burgers. So if you want to just use 2 and you want to make them slightly smaller, you can make 5 out of the mixture.
Should I make one for Christian?
Sure.
Okay. Let me just go get another can because my family
you're good. You're gonna use that. Okay, you good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you make 5 out of your 2 cans?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
That sounds great. So mine, you see, have this little flip top on it, so we can just open it without a can opener. But if anybody does not have that, I'll show you how to use a can opener. Rio, do you have a question? No? Okay. So to use a can opener, if anybody is using that, you want to find the side that has a blade. And it is a blade, so you want to be careful not to touch it and not to cut yourself. And you want to put that part on top of your can. And then lock it in with the other side on the bottom. And then you're gonna press down on these two. You're gonna squeeze them together. 1, 2, 3, until it goes through. Oh yeah, it did go through. It just didn't make a loud noise. And then you'll just turn it. Oops, I got more people here. Hold on 1 second. Let everybody in. And then you'll just turn it until it goes all the way around and opens up. Now the lid of your can will also be sharp. So you want to make sure not to touch it. So you see my can opener stays in one place and the can actually moves around. Okay. So you can use a can opener even if you do have that opening. And we're going to set it to the side until we have both open. Don't pour them anywhere just yet. And then of course, if you have this flip top, we're just going to pull it up and then you're going to turn it the other way and pull it back. Okay. So we've got 2 cans of beans open. Okay, for anybody who just joined us, we just opened our black beans. Okay, so I'm gonna give everybody a minute to catch up to that. So when we wanna make sure we're all together in our classes. So we ask you to give a thumbs up when you're done with that step. So thumbs up when you're done opening your cans of black beans. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Okay, and then because there are a lot of screens to look at, I just sometimes ask you to let me know if I do miss you and I say, okay, we're all done and you're not ready, then just let me know that you need more time. We're happy to go back or to wait. All right, so all these black beans have this liquid in it that we don't want for this recipe. Hold on, sorry, just letting somebody else in. Okay, so we don't want this. So I'm gonna use a strainer. You can use a colander. Don't pour it straight here. You wanna pour it into the sink or over a bowl. So I'm gonna turn my camera around facing my sink so you can see. Okay, so my strainer is now over my sink. It could be over a bowl and you're gonna pour the whole thing in. And it gets a little goopy at the bottom. So I'm actually gonna have to use a spoon. So you see there's still stuff in there. So I'm just gonna put that down for a second, grab a spoon and scoop what's in there out. Okay. And we're gonna do that for the other one as well. Into the same strainer or colander, pour it in. And scoop the rest that's kind of stuck out. Now we need to rinse it. Okay, so we need to rinse it to make sure we get all of the liquid off. So we're going to run our cold water for a minute, make sure it's cold, and give it a rinse until the water that's coming out of the bottom comes out clear. Okay, so it still looks a little brown, and so you want to rinse all over. Still a little brown. And I don't know if you can tell from over here, but it looks pretty clear now. So let me give it a shake to get the water out. And then take my bowl and pour them in. Okay, so we have rinsed and strained our black beans and put them in a bowl, and I'm gonna reset to my other station and then check in with all of you to see how you did. Okay, so let me see a thumbs up when you're done with that step. Okay, and noted about some people who aren't giving thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, I saw a lot. Anybody need more time? Hands up if you need more time. Okay, I don't think I saw anybody. So let's move on. We're gonna set this to the side. Well, actually, I'm gonna kind of do my next thing into it. So we still need it ready, but not very immediately. Okay, next is gonna be our onion. Okay, so everybody get ready with your onion. I saw somebody had some goggles ready to protect their eyes. That's good. We're gonna do something a little different that we haven't done in a class before. We're gonna grate the onion, okay, instead of chopping it. You can use a grater like this, or you could use a zester like this. Or your grater might have smaller sides, so you can choose the size you want. I'm gonna use this. We're going for about a 1/4 cup. Okay, so what you can do is grate it into your 1/4 cup, or you can eyeball it and say, that looks like a 1/4 cup to me. So we're gonna start by taking our skin off. So I've got my knife, I'm pinching it at the blade, wrapping all my other fingers around it. I'm using my bear claw to hold my onion safely. Nice bear claw. All right, so I'm gonna cut off the edge to make it a little bit easier, and then just peel off the, you know what, we don't need this whole thing. So I'm gonna actually cut this in half too. So cut off the edge and cut it in half because a 1/4 cup is not a full onion. So we'll keep peeling off this skin. You don't want that papery skin, okay? Some are easier than others, and mine's being a little bit difficult, so just bear with me. Oh, and it's potent. My eyes are very sensitive to onion, so I might cry a little, but it's okay. Okay, so we set all that to the side, and now we're going to grate. Actually, I need to move my other piece of onion. It's too powerful for me. Okay, so for me, I'm just gonna go by what I feel. And if I do this whole thing, this seems like about a 1/4 cup of onion to me. So I might just do my whole half an onion because it's really small. Oh, sorry. Thank you for letting me know that, Sherry. I was trying to send everybody the ingredients in the chat. So it's a 1/4 cup of grated onion. Thank you. Okay. So again, I'm just going to grate this whole thing, but if you have a bigger one, you can grate it into your measuring cup or into a bowl and then measure. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to position it right on my bowl like that. It's nice and sturdy and stable. And I'm going to be really careful because this is a blade. So I'm going to grate, grate, grate. My hands are getting close to the blade, so I'm going to move them up. Grate, 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 grate. And I'm switching my onion around. So I'll do that side, I'll do this side, I'll do this side. And you'll see, especially if you're using a small zest, it almost like juices the onion, which is what I want. I don't like huge chunks of onion. So if you like more oniony, then go for your bigger grater. And remember, as you get close to the edge of your onion, be careful of your fingers. Also be careful you don't slip like I just did. But you'd rather throw out a piece of onion than go too close and hurt your fingers. So if you have a little piece and you can't grip it right, then go ahead and move on to another piece. Now I'm getting the rest off of this. So I'm going to use a spoon or a knife to just scrape this off. Okay, I will come and check in with you all in a second. I'm just going to get my onions out of here, clean up a little bit. Okay. How are we doing? I see some people still working on onions, but let me see a thumbs up if you have completed your onions. Okay. Okay, a couple thumbs up, a couple still working. So go ahead and keep working. It's no rush. Okay, and I wrote in the recipe, but it's pretty different to do that all together. But I wrote in the recipe that you could always use a food processor for something like this too. So we like to work on our cutting and grading skills and all of that. But if you wanted to do it at home a little bit easier, you could throw it into a food processor and pulse until you have the dice that you want for the onion, garlic, and cilantro slash parsley. Okay, thanks. I got a ready from Jack and James. Thank you. And I saw a bunch of your thumbs up as well. I'm just waiting for somebody to come back and screen. But does anybody who I can see need more time? Hands up if you need more time. Joshy, you're still working on onion? Yeah, okay. Just a minute. I just saw Joshy. Anybody else need more time? No, okay.
So you're all set.
I'm all set.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And for who just joined us, so far we are up to our black beans and onions. So we've opened our cans, rinsed our beans, and then we've grated a 1/4 cup of onion. So we're gonna mash our beans now. So I have a masher that you could use, or you could use a fork. So I will show you both because you have to hold them slightly differently. Okay, so for your masher, you're holding them like this and you're just going straight down. Okay, so down, and I'm kind of like rocking it back and forth. We want to mash it up good. Okay, I'll pause there. For the fork, I'm kind of like squishing against the side of the bowl. So you're holding it like you would, I don't know, you're gripping it as well, but it's kind of now on an angle. And you're just pressing it into the side. If you have a big enough bowl, you can press it down. Okay, so you can use both tools. I'm gonna go back to my masher because it's a little bigger and scrape down the sides, right? So you don't want to just get the same beans over and over again. Scrape down the sides, push them into the middle, and make sure you're getting them all mashed up. Now we can go for whatever consistency it is that you want. So if you like to have big chunks of beans, then don't mash them all the way. If you'd prefer for everything to be mushier, or it won't be quite so mushy once it's cooked, but if you prefer it all one consistency, then go ahead and mash them all so they look the same. Okay, and occasionally you want to tap off the top if you're using a masher. Okay, I feel pretty good about my consistency. It's like kind of like paste like. So I'll show you close what mine looks like. So it's not going to be fully smushed. In order to get it to be all the same, you'd need probably a food processor. But I have some chunks of bean and some mushed. It's going to hold it together. So that is good, and we can set that to the side. I see that. Okay, how's our mashing going? Well, let me see a thumbs up when you are done. Okay, I think I saw a thumbs up from Sayla and Joey, and I think I saw Ryu. Was I right on that? Yeah, Logan and Sky And the Millers, thank you, thank you. And Nunu, thank you. Okay, okay, Kyra, thank you. And Joshy, I think that's everybody. Did I get everybody? Actually, is Dan still working? Do you need more time? Hands up if you need more time. Okay, we will keep going then. All right, so like I said, we're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna be working on our cutting board for a minute. We have garlic and cilantro to do. So we have 1 clove of garlic. Okay, so it's just this little piece that looks like this. If you still have paper on it, take that paper off just like we did with the onions. And we are going to mince this, which means we're going to cut it really, really small. If you have something like this, you could use a garlic press and you'll be done very quickly. Just put that in and squeeze it. But I'm gonna show us how to mince because I feel like most people would be doing that. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have tiny bear claw because we still need to hold on to it. We still need to keep our fingers safe. So to start off, we're gonna do thin slices. Okay, so I'm holding it back here and we're doing slice, slice. Okay, as thin as we can because mince means small, 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 small. Okay, I'm being careful as I get to the bottom. And then I'm gonna pile them up. Okay. And we're gonna do, we're not gonna use bear claw for this. What we're gonna do is put our knife on the cutting board and use this hand to stabilize it. This hand is completely flat out, okay? So that way our fingers aren't dropping on the cutting board and possibly getting in the way of the knife. Completely flat, and then you're safe, and you're gonna rock it back and forth. So your tip of your knife kind of always stays on your cutting board, and you're lifting up the handle and bringing it down, okay? So I wanna show you what would happen if you didn't use that hand to stabilize. So if I tried to do the same thing and I went down, the tip of your knife is coming up too much, right? So it's like, it's not really stable. So by doing this, we're controlling it much more. So we're gonna go one way. So now we kind of have some sticks, and then we're gonna go the other way. So we can dice up or mince up those sticks of garlic, okay? Okay, it doesn't all look the same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gather it again into a pile and go again. Okay, and I'm gonna do it one more time. And if you're doing what I'm doing like this, like taking it off my knife, be really careful if you have a sharp blade. You can use a utensil to get it off so you're being safe. Okay, and one more time. Okay, and now I'm going to put my minced garlic into my bowl. Okay, minced garlic in the bowl. Sheila, is there a question?
How much do you need? Because my garlic is already cut.
Mine is about a teaspoon, but it depends on your taste. So if you don't like garlic as much, half a teaspoon.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so who's got garlic in? Thumbs up, let's see them again. Okay, awesome, thank you. Brian, thank you for the people who are telling me in the chat as well. I see your thumbs up, Jack and James, thank you. And Jake, awesome. and Zilla and Zeta. Okay, is anybody still working? Yeah, Logan, okay, no problem. So for anybody who is ready for the next step, we're not going to do it just yet. We are going to be working with our herbs, either cilantro or parsley. And so make sure you rinse them if you haven't yet. Okay, so we want to rinse anything that comes from the ground, right? So our herbs and our produce. So rinse them if you haven't yet and have them close by. And for the herbs, we do the same, we're going to do the same motion. So I'm going to show you that in a second, but it's going to be the same kind of knife cuts. You're going to be doing the rocking back and forth. Okay, I can see that Logan is almost done. So I'm going to start talking about our herbs because we'll be doing this step for a little while. So we're going to start by taking the leaves off the stems. That's what I like better in here. It's a little nicer consistency. If you don't care if you like stems, you can cut up the whole thing. Joey, yes, garlic to the same bowl. So everything here today is going to go into the same bowl. So it's pretty easy because we could really do them in any order we want. And we don't have to keep track of what goes where. Everything goes in the same place. Okay, so right for now, we're just peeling off our leaves. And so we're going to need a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. So if you're not sure what that looks like, even if I'm not measuring exactly, sometimes I'll just keep a 1/4 cup measuring cup on my cutting board to see when I'm close. So I'll see when my pile looks like the same size as my measuring cup, or I could just put it in. Okay, so go ahead and get your cilantro or your parsley ready. Either herb works in here. I'm going to let you know here that you need. Okay, and we're pulling them off. So we're pinching where the leaves meet the stem and pulling off. Pinch and pull, kind of a tearing motion. Okay, and then when you have one that has a bunch at the end, you can kind of like pull them off all together like that. If you want to be really quick. Okay, I think when that's chopped, that's going to be about a 1/4 cup. I'm going to do one more stem. Okay. All right, so I've got my herbs ready. Now, when we're done with that, we're going to do the same motion. It's kind of hard to hold herbs, right? Because they're all like just small leaves. So I'm bunching them all together as much as I can. And then I'm going to, just like we did with the garlic, slice, 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 slice. Okay. And now that they're a little bit smaller, now I'm going to do my rocking motion. Okay, so I rock it back and forth one way, and then the other. Okay, and then when it's done, it can go into your bowl. I need to turn my kitchen light on, so 1 second. Okay, so once it's chopped, I'm getting it into the same bowl. Our bowl has beans, onion, garlic, and now our herbs. Okay, so you can clean up your cutting board and knife. There's no more chopping. So I'm going to take a second to also clean up, and then I'll check in to see how everyone is doing. Okay, so once your cilantro or parsley is in, go ahead and clean up your knife and cutting board. I saw a hand. Joshy, do you have a question? If you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, no, he was just saying he needed more time.
Oh, okay, that's great. We're taking some more time anyway, so thank you for letting me know. So yeah, you still definitely have time. Anybody who is done though can be cleaning up a little bit. Here. Okay, no rush. I'm going to do a quick check-in though. So I know Joshy's still working. How's everybody else doing? Done with herbs? Okay, see a bunch of thumbs up. Thank you. Who needs more time? Hands up. I think that's a hand from Logan. And I think Joshy is still working. And Kyra, okay.
I'm sorry, Kelly. I was done with my herbs.
Oh, okay, no worries. Thank you. Looks good, Joey. Nice.
Thanks.
Joshy. Thank you, Joey. And Logan, are you ready
Right,
for
you're
the next
welcome.
step? Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, everybody's ready then. All right, so the next step is gonna be easy. We're just measuring some stuff. So let's grab our breadcrumbs. I'm using plain regular breadcrumbs. You could use whatever you have. You could use panko if you wanted. If you have Italian seasoning, that works, especially if you use parsley. So we're using a cup. Let me tell you that in here. A cup of breadcrumbs. So to measure, you might not be able to scoop your 1 cup into your container, so you can just measure it out. But if you think you're going to pour it too fast, hold it over a different bowl. We're going nice and slow and even it out. And we've got a cup that's nice and even at the top, and it's going to go into the bowl. Okay, so let me know with a thumbs up when your breadcrumbs are in the bowl. And again, it's all the same. So we got it right on top here. Rio, are you done or you have a question?
Do we mix the breadcrumbs in?
We can mix everything all at the end, but there's no harm in over mixing. So you could mix now if you wanted to. And Joey, I see your question as well, and you can use panko breadcrumbs as well.
How much of the breadcrumbs, sorry?
It's 1 cup.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So a cup of breadcrumbs, and really any kind will work. So this is a way that you could also make it gluten-free. You could use gluten-free bread and make your own breadcrumbs. You could use panko, you could use regular, you could use seasoned, you could use unseasoned. Mine are unseasoned, so don't worry if yours are not seasoned. Okay, let me see a thumbs up when we're done with the breadcrumbs. All right. Okay, that looks like a lot. Anybody need more time? Okay. Okay, we're gonna keep going then. All right, so we are going to use, we're gonna do 2 spices. So I've got a 1/2 teaspoon is our measuring spoon for both. It's 1/2. I'm trying to see if you can see. 1/2, and it's the little t, or it says TST, or it says teaspoon. Okay, so the first one we're gonna start with is cumin. Put that in the chat for you. So it's 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin. Oh, almost running low here. All right, so I can't show you a perfect measurement because I'm a little low. So I'm gonna measure it and then pour a little in, but you would scoop it out and you wanna make sure that it's nice and even on the top. And if you over scoop, then you would just use your finger or the back of a utensil to even it out. Okay, so, and then you can just pour it in. I'm gonna do a little extra because that wasn't. There we go. Okay, so that's 1/2 teaspoon. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the salt. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon salt. And I'm not even gonna wipe it off because mine I'm pouring. If you're scooping your salt, then go ahead and wipe or rinse this off so that way it's going clean into your container. When pouring salt as well, you wanna be careful because it can come pretty fast. So I'm gonna actually use another bowl as my catch for my salt and go pour it in and straighten it over the top and then sprinkle it in. Okay. So we've just added our cumin and our salt, 1/2 teaspoon of each. Okay, so let me know with a thumbs up when you're done with cumin and salt. Okay, awesome, thanks. Thanks, Joshy, Joey, Jacqueline. I think Jack and James gave me one. Rio, Theta, and Zella. Thank you, thank you. The Millers, awesome, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I don't think anybody needs more time, so I'm gonna keep going to the next step. Am I wrong? Okay, all right, next is eggs. We just need 1 egg, so egg. When we crack eggs, I like to crack them into a separate bowl so that way we can double check for shells in a really easy way. And the other thing to keep in mind when cracking your eggs is how much pressure you should use. So we say it should be like knocking on a door. So everybody can try that pressure first. And then once you've tried it, try it with your hand, with your egg. Okay, so same pressure, and then you break it apart. And it's best to crack an egg actually on a flat surface like a counter, because you're less likely to get shells than if you cracked it on the edge. So we've cracked our egg, and now we want to double check to see if there are shells. So I don't see any shells in here. So I'm gonna add mine to my bowl. If I did find a shell, the easiest way to actually get it out is sometimes with the eggshell itself. Because if you've ever tried to get one out with like your finger, Sometimes it can be really slippery and evasive and you can't find it, but the eggshell will actually get it. So once you've checked, you have a good egg, no shells, put that into your bowl too. That's gonna help us bind this all together. Okay, and then wash your hands, especially after dealing with the egg. Raw egg is not safe to consume, so you don't want to be touching a lot of things in the kitchen or touch your mouth or anything. Okay. Thumbs up when you've got your egg in the bowl. Awesome. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Great. Does anybody need more time? I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up.
Should we put the fire on high or low once we're gonna cook them?
Actually, it should be medium. So
Okay.
exactly medium. Yep. If your burner takes a long time to, well, after we mix is a good time to turn on your burger because we'll still have to, burner. We'll still have to form our burgers. Mine is gas and it heats up pretty fast, but some people, especially with electric stoves, it takes a while. So if you want to, you can turn it on now or after we mix our mixture. So that's our next step, is mixing our mixture. So I'm gonna get a medium-sized spoon here. And first I'm gonna just like break up my yolk just because that makes it a little bit easier. And then I'm gonna mix. So I'm holding the bowl with my other hand that's not holding the spoon. And I'm scraping all the sides and kind of like folding it over. So I'm bringing what was on the bottom up on top. And what was on the sides around, bringing the bottom to the top. And so we want to not see any dry breadcrumbs. Okay. Yes. Question? No?
Yes. So ours is pretty dry. Should we add a new egg?
Let me see. Can I see it?
It's like, I just don't want to spill it because it's a lot. But
Yeah, I see. You know what? I wouldn't add anything just yet. What you can do to test it is see if you can, with your hands, pack some together and it will stay together. Okay, so I'll show you what mine looks like when I'm completely done mixing, so you'll see. It is gonna look kind of dry. I haven't tried it with another egg, so I don't know if it will get too wet. But it's not going to be like the same consistency as like ground meat, which is much wetter, right? So this is going to be a little crumbly looking, but if you press it together, it should hold together. Okay. So I think mine looks pretty similar to yours. It still looks a little crumbly and kind of dry, do you think? We're on the same page? All right, so what I'm gonna do to test it, and we'll do this all together as well in a bit, but I'm gonna just take a sample. And I'm gonna just take it in my hands because they're nice and clean and see if I can press it together, and I can. So this is what it should look like. Mine has a little bit of breadcrumb spots, so I'm gonna keep mixing it. So it should be able to hold together in a burger shape like this. Okay, so you won't know that until you press it together. So that's how you can test. I can see I'm not completely mixed up, but for me, I like mixing with my hands a little bit better. So that's what I'm gonna do. If anybody likes mixing with their hands, feel free to just get in there. All right, so. And then you'll be able to tell too if it's the right consistency. Okay, so that's kind of the fun part. And we're gonna keep using hands to form the burgers, okay? So if you have it all kind of like clumped up in your bowl, We can divide it in half in our bowl a little bit, so that way we're more likely to be even. So I'm gonna try to like press it all to the same shape. So I'm just using my spoon to kind of cut down the middle and then cut down the other middle. So I've got a place to start for my 4 burgers. We can adapt from there, but that's gonna give us a starting point for how to make 4. Okay, I'm gonna wait just a minute to see how our mixing is going because I see some mixing. Sorry, I got messy hands now. Okay, who needs some more time with mixing? Hands up for anybody who needs more time before we get into burger making. I think I see one. Yes, I do. No problem. Take your time. And just getting in there with your hands is really, if you don't mind touching food, it's the easiest way to do it. It's pretty big. Just seeing that my mixture for 4 burgers is looking pretty big. So if you find, once we start making burgers, if you're like, that is way too big for me to eat or for my family to eat, go ahead and make it into smaller pieces. Okay, so since we're making 4, I'm going to show you how to start making your burgers, and you should just have a plate nearby so it has somewhere to go. Right. So I've divided into 4, and I've taken my 4th, and I'm going to just roll it into a ball in my hands and squish it down. A good guideline for how big your burgers should be, or also how big your buns are. This is much too big for my bun. I'm going to just pull off a little piece here and then reform it. So especially for the family who needs to make 5, this should definitely be enough for you. You're not going to end up with burgers that are too small. Okay, so we've reformed it, and so we're forming it into a burger type shape. So we're round and flattening it down. And if you see any cracks, just smush it together. Okay, still pretty big, and I took some off. So this is what we're looking at. Yes, to the question in the chat, the recording will for sure be emailed. So there's one burger, and then we'll put it to the side. Just keep going with all your burgers. Okay, so I'm taking my piece, forming it into a tight little ball, and then smushing it down. That looks much more manageable to eat. One person. Okay, and it's kind of fun to play with and shape and form. Okay, burger number 2. Okay, got burger number 3. How's everyone's coming out? Are the consistency good? They're holding together like this? Good, good. I see some thumbs up. Nice. So I'm gonna end up with 5 big burgers and 1 little burger. So you could definitely even get 6 out of here, I think, if we flatten these out a little bit and took a little bit from each one. Okay. So whatever is left, you can make them any size and it can just be a snack. So like I'm just taking what's left and forming it into a little baby burger and it can be a snack. Or you can, redistribute if you want them all to be the same size. So by redistribute, I mean pull some off of some and give them to others. So mine are all done right here. I need to wash my hands, which probably you do too if you were using your hands to form your burgers without gloves. So I'm going to wash my hands and then get ready for cooking them on the stove. So we typically try to have classes be an hour. This might go over by a few, but I'm going to just demo how to cook them on the stove and you can finish them off yourself. Okay. Just do a quick tidy up, and even if you're still working on forming your burgers, that's okay. I want to let everybody know how to cook them on the stove, so I'm going to start on that. Even if you're still forming them, you can watch, or you can start with your first few that are formed. So I've got a skillet on the stove burner, and I've turned my stove on to medium heat. Okay, so we're going to give that a minute to warm up. And while we're doing that, I'm going to just move my camera closer. Okay. You should be able to see my stove when I turn my camera down. So we're letting it warm up, and we also need to have our oil on hand. Okay, so for this, I just I eyeball it, but you could measure out 2 tablespoons if you want to measure it. You want to wait until your pan is hot before you add the oil, so the oil can go into a hot pan. So I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. So you won't see my face. I'm just going to do a drizzle of olive oil. So it's going to coat the bottom. So this is, you want to be careful. Hot oil is very, very hot. So I've got my apron on because I don't want to stain my clothes, and I'm going to be as careful as possible when dealing with it. So if you want, you could do something like tongs. Actually, let me grab that so I can show you. So that way you can be farther away. Once I've added the oil, I've swirled it around. I'll show you the first way, which is to just put it in. This is putting your fingers quite close though. So we want to be careful about that. The other way is to use tongs, which I didn't have on our list, so I apologize for not thinking of that. But you can just grab your uncooked burger and put it in with your tongs. So that way you're being really safe. If you can fit more, you can fit more. I'm going to just show you 2. And what we want to do is cook them on 5 minutes on each side. So I'm going to set a timer for myself so I don't forget. And then you're going to flip them. So you can use to flip them when it's time, you can use a spatula, which I'll show you when it's time to flip it. You want to get underneath and do a very quick flip of your wrist. Okay, so if you want, you can practice that. Or you could again use your tongs. So you could use your tongs to pick them up if you can be gentle and not have the burger break apart. Okay. Do we have questions about that right now?
Cool question.
Yes.
Well, how do I know when the pan gets heated?
Good question. That's a really, really good question, especially if, so I just know how long my pan takes to cook because I cook a lot. That's a really great question, Joey. Thank you for asking it. So one of the things that I do that I feel comfortable with, but you might not, is I hold my hand high over my pan. So I'm not close to it at all. And if I can feel the heat and it feels hot from up here, then that is hot. The other thing that you can do, if that feels a little too risky for you, is you can take some water. So take like a little splash of water in a cup and even just like dip your fingers in there and splash it into the pan. It should sizzle and evaporate pretty quickly. If it just kind of sits there, it's not hot. So those are a couple of ways. Thank you so much for asking that.
Right. You're welcome, and thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if you went in at the same time as me, I've got 3 minutes left. Okay, and I am gonna just use my spatula to press this down a little bit because I see that it's uneven a little. I wouldn't do this normally with like a meat burger because then you run out all the juices, but this doesn't have the juices like ground beef or chicken would have. And then the burgers as well, the only thing that needs to cook through in here is the egg. And that cooks pretty quickly. So all we're trying to do is get this to be browned to add some flavor and some texture. So it's not like meat where we need to cook it all the way through to a certain temperature. We have to, all of that. So our beans are already cooked. Everything else is fine to consume raw except for that egg. So that's the only thing you need to make sure it's cooked enough for.
Thank you.
Kelly,
You're
we have
welcome.
to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
But we're having them for dinner.
Great. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Enjoy finishing up and eating them.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Anybody else who has to go as well, we totally understand. So feel free to jump off if you know what you're doing to finish up the class. We're going to end shortly after I flip this, which is in 2 minutes. Just so I can show you what the other side looks like and then how to use the spatula. And then I'm going to let you all cook on your own to finish up. So does anybody have any questions in the meantime about how to cook them, the timing, anything?
I would like to show my burgers.
They look amazing. Thank you for
Thanks.
showing them.
Right, you're welcome.
When she's done talking, say thank you. We're gonna cook on this later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Sky.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. But wait, Mama, I will like burgers. And I have been taking so many classes lately.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad you like these and you're taking classes and it's awesome. So I just have 20 seconds left here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip them so you can see. And so I'm getting underneath and they might be actually a little birds.
She didn't hear you. Say thank you, Kelly.
So
Thank you, Kelly.
you're welcome. So go ahead and flip them over like that. So this is like as dark as you would want them, which is still good, but they can even be a little bit lighter than that too. So I see that they're cooking fast. So I turned my heat down and I'm gonna go ahead and set another timer. Okay, and again, if you're using your spatula, you got underneath it. and you flip it over, right? Okay, so underneath and a quick flip. Or you could be using your tongs. So it's 5 minutes on each side for each burger. And I think you all seem pretty confident to finish that up yourself. Are there any final questions? Oh, I see a question that says, what condiments do you use with the burgers? So you can use anything you'd use with a regular burger. We had some people mention earlier they were using mustard, ketchup, mayo, pickles. You could use any toppings you want. I like using mayo, especially so it adds some, like we would definitely recommend some condiments, right? Because you want to add some moisture and some sauce kind of thing to it. So I like mayo with this, but a lot of people mention mustard and ketchup as well. Okay. Thank you all for your comments in the chat. I don't think there are any other questions. So we're going to say goodbye then and let you finish all on your own. And send us your pictures. I'll send you an email either tomorrow or Friday with a bunch of links and reminders about sending us your pictures and all that. So I'm going to say goodbye and go enjoy your burgers.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye. You're welcome.